All right, my man Tony, what's going on, brother?
How you doing? How you doing? Nice to see you again.
Yeah, no, it's been some time, and I wanted to get you on to talk about your experience at the conference, and I know that you want a contract after the conference, and I want to share that with people, and just kind of tell us what that looked like, what happened, and what was your experiences.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean the conference was great. It was just a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds. So my experience, we sell tires, and places we go, there's not a lot of people that sell tires. But it was just the network of people you had there. So I was just sitting down talking and listening, and I was talking to Todd. It was probably the last couple hours of the day, or might have been maybe the evening before. I'm not sure. And we were just talking. I was just listening, and he was just talking about, I was telling him about, it's tough in tires. You think it's easy, but it's tough. And he was like, you got to add a plus one. And I was like, what is that? He's like, well, a plus one. He's like, what else can you add to the tires? Like, what else can you sell? What else can you provide? If you provide tires and you add the plus one, then they'll have a tough time of telling you no. And I was like, plus one, huh? So I came home and I was thinking, and I'm like, plus one. And I'm like, well, what do they do with these tires when they're done with them? And I was like, they got to recycle them somehow. So I started researching and digging around. And, I started hitting up a couple of agencies. And they're like, yeah, well, do you have a solution? And I was like, oh, well, okay, so this is viable. And like I used to live in Pennsylvania, so I have a little bit of relationships over there. So for some reason, I just looked in Pennsylvania because I don't focus on state contracts, just federal.
Okay.
But I just looked there, and it was like a tire recycling bid came up, and I'm like, this has got to be like a sign. I'm like, I just come back from the conference. There's a bid for recycling, so I got together with somebody I met at the conference, and we put a bunch of things together, bid on two, won one of them, and knocked it out. So,
Uh,
I mean, I pretty much 50x my investment going to the conference, basically just sitting down listening.
wow, that's awesome. And so the person that you met. So you met two people because you met the person that gave you the idea, right, for plus one, and then you met the person that you actually put the bid in with, which is a different
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah. On top of all the other people I met, but
Right, 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 right,
yeah,
right. But specifically for that $238,000 contract.
yeah, I would have never won that contract without going to your conference. Absolutely, I would have never even looked. I never even have thought about it.
Right,
Never
right,
even looked for it. And I was a little hesitant because of the state, I was like, but I was like,
right,
let me just get the experience at least. I
right.
was like, if I can do federal, I can knock the state job, the state contract
Sure,
out of the
sure.
park. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's
so I actually,
interesting. Go
actually
ahead. I'm
flew
sorry.
out there, walked the job over with the guys from the state and stuff like that. And, it was cool. One guy um, lives in the town that I went to college in. So, it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this: the how long before that had you been trying to do like government contracts before the conference?
um, well, I only really started full time contract in like 2023. So I started maybe in
Right.
February.
Yeah. So right. So what is that? Maybe February conference, October. It's about 8 months.
Yeah, 8 months. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 8 months. And what made you decide to like come to the conference?
Just the networking, how it's like, obviously I bought your course. I
Yep.
know it's not mandatory, but I bought your course. And one of the two things that you emphasize, or a few things that you emphasize, is the sources sought and the networking. Like
Right.
going on sam.gov, it's good, but it's not going to take you over the top. You got a network. You got a network, and you got to be your subject matter expert, which we definitely are. But yeah, I was just the fact that all those people were coming, and just different types of people. You never know who you're gonna meet, so that's
Right.
that's why I came.
Right. And for the people listening, who's Todd? Because I mean, you say Todd, people don't know who Todd is.
Oh, I mean, well, you know, Todd's one of your people that, you know, you kind of introduced us. But I mean, you know, he's taken his company to millions of dollars. So
Right.
I didn't even have to talk. I was just mostly, I think I probably asked him maybe 2 questions, and I
Right.
was sitting there listening for 45 minutes.
45
So
minutes.
yeah, because we were just sitting over in the corner right out of the ballroom, and everybody was just talking, and I was just listening to
Right.
everybody. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, what about tires? I was like, I can't, you know, it's hard to get in there. And that's when he talked about the +1. So that's projected me into just having that conversation from last year with the +1. I'll tell you a story that kind of just happened to me. Well, it's quick. It's a quick story. So, you know, we were following a source assault last year for tires for like a 3-year contract. So it was probably like almost 400 different opportunities to win a contract. And we didn't win any, not one of them. So I'm like, man, that's bad. So I thought back to my +1. I'm like, all right, well, what can I offer the government that that they need? And I thought about it, and I said, well, they all need like different products that go with the tires. So they all need lubricants. You know, they need wheels. Some, you know, they call them wheel assemblies. They need run flats. And I was like, all right, well, what if I can put that together and, you know, offer the government that? So, you know, thinking about that +1, I was like, all right. So I made some contacts with some people, and then now we're manufacturing wheel assemblies and run flats. So there's only really one source that supplies run flats and lubricants to the government. So, you know, because of you know, you always tell us to be a subject matter expert and you know, focus on one thing.
Right.
Now you know, we're putting together a package to submit to the government. So now we could be source number 2. And here's the good thing. Like, I had Diane, you know, I watch your videos with Diane Dempsey. I had her, you know, I was meaning to email her for a long time, but I always remember you say you got to email her correctly.
Right.
And I didn't have anything to email her about, and you know, for like a year. So I was like, I'm not going to waste it. I gotta use it.
Right.
So once I got my, you know, my wheel assemblies and my run flats, and all that process manufactured, then I emailed her with, you know, these are the vehicles you make. These are the vehicles we can make your wheel assemblies for, the run flats. And she emailed me back, gave me her phone number, emailed me back, slid it off to, you know, who's supposed to have it. And I was like, cool. Because I figure you get like one shot and you don't want to blow it. So don't go. You always say, hey, don't go with no foolishness.
Right.
I had to go correct. So, and then today, and this is funny that this is happening today, one of the large vehicle manufacturers just called us and asked us for a quote for wheel assemblies. Yeah. Called us like, can you give us a quote? Do you have everything you need? I'm like, yeah, you know, we pretty much got everything. I was like, we did. He's like, can you give us a quote? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, thank you. Send it to me. It's like, that's crazy. $1 billion company calling us for a quote.
Now, do you know why they called you for a quote?
Yeah, I emailed them a lot. Well, yeah. That's not right. Obviously, you can't just email people a lot. Well, it's all because of the +1. It goes back to when I went to the conference last year and I thought about the +1. And then I started figuring, what can I add to tires?
Right.
And I'm like, they got to run on rims. Most military vehicles have run flats. So if I put those together, if I can offer that and not just tires, you know, people will call back. And that's what I offered that company. And being a subject matter expert, I told him, I was like, this is the tire size you have. This is what you're running now. This is what vehicles they go on. These are the different sizes we can provide. You only have one supplier right now. Your lead time is probably at least 190 days. I said anything under 4 months is unacceptable. We can give you a quote. We can get it done under 2 months. After the first batch goes out to you. I was like, anything over 4 months is unacceptable for us. He was like, absolutely. And then that was like a couple weeks ago. And then I guess the other guy just called and was like, can you give us a quote for those run flats? You got everything you need? I was like, yeah, of course. So gonna submit that tomorrow. And that's all because of that conversation I had with the +1 at the conference. I never would have thought about this stuff. Never.
Congratulations, man. No, that's huge. What I love about what you're saying, several things. One is you didn't jump industries, right?
Shiny object.
Yeah, the shiny object. Like everyone wants to jump, hop industries.
Shiny object.
And so, everybody's like, oh, okay, this is not working. I'm going to go over here. This is not working. I'm going over here. This, and, the insight from someone who has, been where you're at. And for everyone out there, Todd is, one of my guys down here that, in fact, he's been instrumental in helping us with this year's conference, getting some of the big name people that we've got on some of the panels and speaking. He's been instrumental in helping us pull together those speakers because of his relationships. And so having that foresight and saying, okay, not pivot your business, right? Add a +1 so that you can remain a subject matter expert and enhance your offering so you can bring more value to potential customers. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's hard to, and trust me, I go through it all the time. Like, when you lose a contract where there's 400 different opportunities and you lose, it's like, all right, maybe I should get into something else. It's like,
right.
Come on, the odds are stacked against me. But I'm like, nah, I'm not quitting. Got too much knowledge, and I'm just like,
right.
It's like a chess game, It's just, all right, somebody just took your rook. Okay, you're focusing on your rook, but you got to step back and look at the whole board again.
Right.
Sometimes you got to pull your guys back and then reassess and then go forward again. That's just kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, no, it's true. I like that. That's a great way to look at it. Most people are playing checkers and we're playing chess.
Yeah, you can't. Especially, I've talked to a lot of people over the past couple of years, and I haven't met anybody else that sells tires. And
neither have I.
Trust me, if I could do it again, I wouldn't sell tires. I started it is too late now. I would have just bought a manufacturing company and just figured out which parts the government needs,
Right. Right.
But I'm in too deep now, so it's when you can call a large manufacturer and tell them this is what you need, these are your sizes, and I can make this and provide this. I guess you should stay in that industry.
You should probably stay in that industry. You should probably,
a lot of hours looking and researching contracts and reading contracts.
Again, the book says 10x is easier than 2x. Talks about that. If you want, once you get into that area that, like you said, you're a subject matter expert, then you could figure out what other ways you can offer value. Then you could find out, like you said, the fact that a billion-dollar company called you, I think you've already kind of figured out your way, right? So you're already having some success. And again, let me ask you this: how big is the tire industry in the government space?
As far as dollar-wise?
Whatever you want, whatever metric you want to measure it. Is it a billion-dollar industry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not a. I shouldn't say it's a bit. See, that's misleading, because when you say it's a bit, like that's like on Shark Tank when they're like, don't say
I get it. Right.
Because you're not. It's hard to get a piece of that pie.
Sure. Sure.
I mean,
Well, I guess let me rephrase. My only thing I meant to say was, is it a big enough industry where you could build an actual business within the industry? Can you build a long-term sustainable business in that industry?
I mean, that's a complicated question. Should I
Okay.
divulge on it a little bit? Because it's not like there's enough. I'll put it to you like this: there's enough money to be made in the industry, but getting the contracts isn't as simple as, hey, buy a tire from here and sell it to the government. It's not that.
Okay.
It's not that easy, and it's not. You have to be set up. Like you can't just say, well, I'll sell some tires, and
All right. Right.
you don't have any infrastructure behind you. You don't have relationships with tire companies. So
Right.
yeah, it just depends on what you want to do. You can do it, absolutely. You can do anything you want to do. You got to put your mind to it. It's not going to be easy, but if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Right. No, and I'm not encouraging people to get into the tire industry. I'm only specifically talking about you and your business. Is it a big enough industry for you to build a sustainable business for you, not for someone coming in with no experience at all? No, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't touch. Look, I wouldn't touch the tire industry with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the first one to tell me that.
Okay, look, I feel like, listen, you sound like Elon Musk trying to invent electric cars when people are like, a who car? Like, they're like, you want to invent an electric car company and a rocket ship company, to two things that all people have failed on for the last 2-3 dozen years. You want to get into those two industries? Best of luck. But that's the way I look at tires to me. Okay. It's a big, like, I'm no bueno for me. But for yourself,
I've been told that too, multiple times. I mean, I still get told that. It's like always comes down on the price, and it's all right though. Once you get that +1 though, that's when those people start calling you back. They're like, well, you got tires, but can you sell us the tires on the wheels? Or can you sell us the run flats with the tires? And so you gotta have that +1. And that's when the business will turn. Because you could sell tires and your +1, and it's sustainable. Absolutely.
let me ask you this. For those people that are attending this year, what advice would you give them on how to maximize the event?
I would say know your industry. Don't just come down with no direction. Don't say, oh, I do construction, or oh, I do janitorial, or like stuff that if somebody you got to be a subject matter expert. Know what you want to do. Know, even if you haven't had a contract yet, know what you're focused on doing. If you're doing janitorial, like I don't know the business, but how big can you do? I mean, like, can you? If somebody here's the way. I mean, you probably taught this in the class.
That's okay.
Here's the way you can judge if you're ready to do a contract or not. First of all, if somebody gave you a contract right now, can you fulfill it? It's a yes or a no. Like if the government said, Tone, I need 2,000 tires. All right, well, where do you need them shipped? So that's your first question, whether you're ready or not. Second is know what you want to do. Don't ask anybody else what you're supposed to do. That's the main thing. Like, don't go talk with somebody and says, yeah, well, I'm trying to get into government contracting. What do you think I should do? No, you just lost your elevator pitch. You just wasted that contact. So I would say know who you want to talk to as far as like industry wise, like know your industry, then figure out who you need to talk to. Like me, I know because last year none of these people were there. I know I need to talk to the DOD. I need to talk to Homeland Security or Customs and Border Protection. I need to talk to General Dynamics. I need to talk to the State Department.
Okay.
I need to talk to SBA.
Okay.
So at least I know who's going to be there, so I can try to find them. Focus in. I'll help. I'll recruit everybody to help me out. But know who you want to find, because once you narrow that down, don't be a jack of all trades, master of none. Then you can say, listen, I do construction. We focus on metal buildings or something like that. Like whatever the case is. isn't that what you started off on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was totally accidental. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. That's my thing. Metal buildings. Yeah.
do the research. Go on the you have it posted. Go on the website, see what industries are going to be there, see what government agencies are going to be there, and kind of narrow it down. And then just do your research and look and see who you want to talk to. Be focused. I mean, that's the best advice I can get. And make sure you have business cards. And one thing I've noticed, I mean, this is a little bit of advice of your business card. Put on there what you do. Like I have so many business cards, and I'm like, I have a stack. Like I got a stack of business cards that I keep, especially from the conference. Like you have them too, right? Eric? You got
Oh
stacks
yeah.
of business cards.
Oh yeah.
I got a stack of business cards I keep. You know, like yeah, see.
Yeah.
But I go through some of these business cards. I don't know what they do from the business card. It doesn't tell me.
Right.
Like I have no clue. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm not gonna go to the next card. So put on there what you do on your business card. That's a little bit of advice I can give you. Like my business card has my cage code, what I do, some of the NAICS codes, the FSC codes, phone number, simple. So that's a little bit of advice. That way, when somebody pulls up your business card, hey, you do janitorial, it says on your business card, let me call this person
I like it. I like it.
Because, government agencies, they don't, they flip through stuff quick. Emails got to be powerful. Business cards, like, they'll flip through it quick. If they can't find an answer on your business card, you go on to the next. I mean, I think.
So one of the things that Tony kind of glanced over that I don't think people caught, because again, if you're new to my channel and you're just listening to us for the first time, he said that he reached out to Diane Dempsey. Okay. And I don't think people know who Diane Dempsey is, Tony. We got to give people some context of who Diane Dempsey is.
Well, you tell the story, because you had that. I mean, you had that conversation when you were making fun of somebody. And I remember last year, I think we had this conversation, and I was defending the people. I was like, well, it doesn't have periods. So, usually acronyms have periods. So, but.
Well, no, I mean, so Diane Dempsey is for all of you who don't know, she's a small business liaison officer, and she works for a multi-billion-dollar company called BAE Systems. And so she was on my podcast, and she's very small business friendly. However, if you listen to her episode, she explains, how to approach her or someone like her in her position in order to get the maximum amount of value out of them. And so what Tony mentioned today made perfect sense, right? He didn't waste that opportunity. He didn't waste his elevator pitch just saying, hey, what do you think I should do? Or what do you guys buy? Or, he understood exactly who she was, who her company was, what they purchased, and then he knew exactly how to help her. And he kind of glanced over that because I don't think many people are aware of who, and again, Google this, BAE Systems, they last year's revenues were 23 billion with a B dollars.
Billion with a B.
So I didn't want to say that, because when he said that he reached out to someone, he did not give everyone the full context, right? This is the company who he reached out to, who again happened to be on my podcast. She was a podcast guest, and she was very nice and very forthcoming with the information. And she said, which is interesting, Tony, that not a lot of people even listen to the episode because they're looking for the glitz and the glamour. And so in this particular episode where we had her on, she's very open. She's at a lot of the government contracting events. She travels throughout the year. She meets thousands of people, as she stated. But if you know how you can serve her or how she can help you, and you know exactly within her business structure who she should be sending you to, she's an amazing resource. And that's why Tony was able to get those results that he received. So I don't want people to think he just said Diane, like she's some regular person. She actually works for one of the largest defense contractors in the country.
Yeah, I was holding it. I was like, I'm gonna get to you, Diane. I'm gonna email you. I'm gonna get a response, but I gotta come with something. I'm not just go waste it and say hi. I sell tires. She probably wouldn't even answer me. She definitely wouldn't answer me. Everybody sells, whatever.
Right,
so,
right. Right.
It's very important.
Well, listen, Tony, thank you so much. Just again, some final words for people listening to this who are thinking on the edge about going to the conference. What do you want to say to them?
Listen, you can't be scared to invest in yourself. So for me, I don't have a lot of social media. Like I don't have Twitter or TikTok or I don't know what a lot of this stuff. A lot of the times I'm spending reading, or if I'm on my car, I'm listening to Audible books. You know, I haven't drank in a couple months. So all these little things that you do that, you know, that aren't helping you build wealth or build a business, you gotta invest in yourself. Go to the conference. It only takes, you can meet one person, it'll change your life. One contract will change your life. I mean, you gotta go. You know, if you go out on the weekends, you know, 4 or 5 weekends in a row, that's your conference. So, you know, if it's a money thing, you're like, you know, you could swing it. You know, you might just have to cut things off, but you gotta focus on yourself. You gotta network. You're not gonna build a multi-million-dollar company just searching sand. It's just not gonna happen. You know, you gotta go out and network and research people. And you know, I was working on a $45 million contract proposal, and I had to hit Eric up like, hey, I need some help with this. You know, like, how are you going to go at that alone if you don't have the network? So yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity. I don't know any other conferences of having this many big players, and it's not like a showcase. You know, they're not showing vehicles or something like that. So I mean, if you don't go to this conference, I don't think you're serious about government contracting. That's my elevator pitch. I'll see you guys there. That's it. You got to be there.
Got to be there. And by the way, all of my yacht guys say you have to be in the room. You know, I'm going to say this. You know, all of my wealthy friends will be here at that event. You met Todd, all of them, right? Some of the people that I will say that I've worked with and done business with for the last 5 years that people have never met will be at the conference and the event. They're flying in. It's that important to them. So if all of my wealthy friends who do not have to work for a living are going to be at the event, what excuse do people who are trying to build a business, grow a business, scale a business have? I think none. So I just want to say that. And I'm going to, Tony, we actually just, and this might be helpful to you, I don't know, because this year we're having a track on technology specifically. So I think you've probably seen this, Tony, on our website. We've got people like IBM is going to be there, right? SAIC, some of those players. I know IBM just won $1 billion contract they need help with. And so NASA is going to be there. So we've got an impressive lineup that we didn't have before, and that's why I'm going to AUSA to recruit some more people to be at the conference. So
that's huge.
Yeah. We've got some big. In fact, I'm doing this with you now, and we've got a big call happening as we speak with a bunch of the top Fortune 50 companies right now, where we're discussing technology solutions for defense space. So a lot of these people are going to come in. We're actually going to have another event, Tony, that I'm going to mention to you offline that we're going to be doing around the same time. So I'll invite you to that as well. So, but thanks, Tony. Listen, I appreciate your time, man, brother. I appreciate you as always. Thanks for sharing a little bit with the people out here today. And I hope that we'll see you guys at the conference.
So you guys at the conference, don't miss it.